It's 3 p.m. You can barely form a sentence, you're just dragging. Someone asks you something simple, you just stare at them for 4 seconds. 7 hours of being a functioning human, you're done. You are cooked. And then it happens, 11 at night, and your brain just switches on. Full voltage. All the ideas, all the thoughts. That documentary you've been meaning to watch, you're 3 episodes in. You could reorganize your whole life, plan a trip, text someone from 2019, and the worst part? You know you should sleep, and you just don't. This is so common there's a scientific name for it. Revenge. Bedtime. Procrastination. Your brain is literally staging revenge against your own schedule. And by the end of this, you'll understand exactly why and what to do about it. Let's start with the biology. You have an actual internal clock. It's called the circadian rhythm, and it runs your whole body's schedule. In the morning, cortisol peaks. That's what actually wakes you up, not the alarm. Then it drops throughout the day. By evening, melatonin is supposed to take over. Melatonin is your sleep hormone. It's basically your body saying, okay, day's done. But there's a very specific, very modern problem. Your phone emits blue light, and blue light tells your brain it's noon. So melatonin stops, because clearly, according to your eyeballs, the sun is still up. And now you're lying there exhausted but somehow wired, tired, and wired. Two things that feel like they shouldn't coexist. But here you are. There's also this thing called cortisol awakening response. In stressed people, cortisol gets a second wind late at night. It's your body doing one last scan. Did we solve all the problems? Are we safe? Stressful day? The answer is no. Body keeps the engine running, just in case. Which is why some nights you could work another 3 hours at midnight, and then at 2 a.m. you finally crash, and 7 a.m. absolutely destroys you. Okay, but here's the layer that's more interesting than the biology. Biology explains why you can't sleep. Psychology explains why you won't. During the day, you have basically zero control over your time. Work, other people's needs, things that have to happen. Your time isn't really yours. And then 10 p.m. hits. For the first time all day, nobody needs anything from you. That quiet is something your brain has been waiting for all day. And it makes a very logical decision. We are not going to sleep through this. Because sleep means tomorrow starts again. And tomorrow is the same grind. So instead, you scroll, watch, exist on your own terms for a little while. And honestly, there is nothing wrong with that instinct. The want is completely valid. Your brain isn't broken. It's just hungry. Hungry for something that was yours. Not work. Not their stuff. Just you. And here's where it gets interesting. This actually has a name. It was first identified in people who felt they had no leisure time during the day. Doctors, parents, people in demanding jobs who are always on. They all stayed up late doing nothing in particular. Not because they were lazy, because staying up was the only way to have a moment that felt like theirs. That's the revenge. Not against a person, against the day that took everything. The phone is just the method. The real need underneath it is completely valid. Understanding this changes the whole conversation. This isn't a willpower problem. Let's talk about who this hits hardest, because some people have it way worse. People whose days are genuinely out of their control. Anyone who suppresses who they are professionally. Customer service, healthcare, teaching. You spend 8 hours being what everyone else needs. By evening, your actual self is starving. And the scroll fills that, temporarily, imperfectly, but it genuinely fills something. There's also something called the guilt loop. This one's sneaky. A lot of people don't think they've earned rest until everything is done, which is impossible, because everything is never done. So you never officially rest. You just eventually collapse. And you wake up guilty, because collapsing feels like losing. So you work harder, which means less leisure, which means staying up even later. Revenge, bedtime procrastination, and the guilt loop. They feed each other. The phone becomes the escape from the guilt as much as from the day. It says, for right now, you don't have to be behind. Just watch. That's not laziness. That's an exhausted person finding the only exit they can see. And we should start with a little compassion for that person. It might be you. Here's what I actually find kind of beautiful about all of this. Your brain is loyal, annoyingly loyal. It will not let you be fully erased by your schedule. Even when you forget to take care of yourself, your brain is still fighting for you. It's just using a flawed strategy. Staying up until 2 a.m. is not actually restorative. The scroll stimulates. It doesn't restore. There's a real difference. It's like eating sugar when you're hungry. Feels like food. Costs more than it gives. Quick one. I'm genuinely curious about yours. What do you end up doing instead of sleeping? Like, specifically, TikTok spirals, Reddit rabbit holes, thinking about that thing from 2017. Whatever it is, drop it below. I actually want to know, not as data, because knowing you're not alone in this actually helps. There are millions of people staring at ceilings right now. You're in very large company, like you're all at the same silent party, and nobody got the memo. And if you've made it this far, you're exactly the kind of person this is for. We're just here, taking the weird small things and finding out what they say about us. Okay, let's actually talk about what you can do. Because there's real stuff here. First thing, the goal is not to become a morning person. That is not a fix. The goal is to stop treating night as your only free time, because it doesn't have to be. First, create a transition ritual, something that tells your brain the workday is done. Your brain runs on associations. Give it a clear one. Same time, same sequence, every night. Doesn't have to be yoga and tea. It can be anything consistent that your brain learns. Second, give yourself real leisure earlier, before 10 p.m., deliberately. If your brain gets its time at 9 p.m., it doesn't need to steal it at midnight, but that means saying no to something at 9 p.m., and that's where it gets real. Third, the phone thing, but not what you think. Don't try to fight the phone with willpower at 1 a.m. Willpower is gone by then. Instead, charge it outside your bedroom. Just enough friction to slow you down. You're not quitting the phone. You're just making it slightly less automatic. That pause is where the choice lives. You just need to create the pause. Fourth, dim your lights 90 minutes before you want to sleep. Melatonin will start, naturally. No supplements, because you stopped blocking it. Fifth, and most people skip this one completely, the thing that's quietly humming in the background, the thing you're avoiding. Get it out of your head and onto paper. 10-minute brain dump before bed. You're not solving the problems. You're giving your brain permission to pause them. Your brain just wants to know you haven't forgotten. Write it down and it believes you. One more layer, the deeper belief underneath all of this. A lot of people don't really believe they deserve rest, not until they've done enough. But enough never comes, because the bar always moves. Rest is not a reward for finishing things. Rest is what makes you able to do things. Your body doesn't recover because you earned it. It recovers because it needs to. Giving yourself rest before you've done everything, that's actually strength. It's the thing that lets you do everything else better. So the shift is, stop stealing rest at midnight. Start giving it earlier. Not because you earned it, because you're a person. And people need rest. You're not going to fix this overnight, but you can shift it tonight. Dim the lights an hour before you want to sleep. Write down the one thing that's humming in the background. Put your phone somewhere that requires you to actually think about it. 3 things. That's a start. And a start is enough. You're not broken. You're a person living in a time when the demands never stop, and your brain is doing its weird loyal best to give you something that's yours. That's actually kind of amazing when you say it out loud, even when it's using a method you should probably fix. Send this to whoever you're texting at 1 a.m. They will absolutely recognize themselves. Tag them. Make it weird. They'll thank you eventually. And if you've made it all the way here, you're clearly someone who likes understanding the actual reason behind things. Which means there's a whole lot more here you're going to find interesting. Stuff like why you flinch when someone randomly compliments you, or why you replay that email you sent for 4 hours after hitting send. The small weird stuff that most people just shrug and move past. We don't shrug here. We look. That's the whole thing. And if any of this rang true, you know what to do. Tonight, lights down an hour early. Write the thing, phone in the drawer, and maybe, just maybe, tomorrow morning won't completely destroy you. Stay curious.